Okay, folks, sorry about the crude video, but one of the things I mentioned on previous videos was, is it possible to make a self-charging system using LED lights? So I decided to build a proof of concept box just to see if it's possible. And although in hindsight I'd probably designed this a bit differently, it seems to do what it says on the tin. Now, I've only got this together recently and I'm only doing testing now. So I won't know for sure until I leave it on and see if it keeps on working without the power going down. But I'll go into more detail on future videos as to what's happening and what the idea is behind it. But just to give you an idea what this is here, this box here has 9 small solar panels. You can see them there, the small solar panels, and these are all 5-volt solar panels. Now when you put a line of solar panels together, it's called a string. So I have 3 panels here, that's one string. Then I have 3 panels here, that's another string, and I have 3 panels here, that's another string. So I have 3 strings of 3 5-volt panels. And on the back here I have reflective mirror tape, and I have it here as well, because it's, when it comes to solar, it's all about light, it's not about heat. The light is important. And here I have all my LEDs on the top, and you can see there's a mirror background as well there to maximize the light intensity to get the maximum amount of power. And then obviously down here is just all where the brains are for all the wiring. So you have 3 strings. The 3 of them are all wired in parallel rather than series, because I wanted to keep the voltage the same, which is 5 volts, but I wanted the amps, the current, to be higher. So by wiring them in parallel, the volts remain the same, but the amps go up. So this configuration gives me about 5 volts at 7.56 amps. It's not a lot of power, but again, I'm only testing it and having to practice just to give it a go and see what happens. So I'm going to put it all together and power it up and then just show you it working. So here you go. So there's the lights. The lid is on top now, and the LED lights are on. And what I have here is just a basic 5-volt Linksys PAP2 device. It's just happened to be something that I had that was 5 volts that I wanted to test. And as you can see, the lights are on that PAP2 there. So that's powered up. And then this here is a power bank, which is also, let me show you there. Hopefully you can see the lights there. There's 4 lights on there. So this power bank with the cabling is being charged by the LED lights, as well as the lights. The power bank is charging, is producing power for the lights, and we're getting enough current through to charge the power bank at the same time. That's called pass-through charging. But also, while it's charging, it's also powering the PAP2 device. Now, I know this is a big box for such small power, but I just wanted to do a proof of concept. I just wanted to see if it's going to work, if I'm going to invest in any more money in the idea and look at ways to reduce this size. If I was to do it again, I would probably put all the solar panels one on top of the other, which would make a much smaller footprint. It'd be much easier to do. And it'd take up a lot less space. But I just wanted to show everyone the idea that using LED lights, now this is in my shed, it's not even out in the sun, But yeah, I'm using LED lights to shine on the panels to produce power. It's just a basic system that I set up here just to kind of prove the point that you can, if you have the right technology, you can self-charge your system and also power what you want at the same time. Now, it's early days at the moment, so I've more testing to do. This is not the final thing. I've done more testing to do, but I will leave this on now the way it is at the moment. I'm going to leave it for a few hours to see if that power bank either runs out of power or it stays powered up with 4 bars. You can see the 4 bars there. So it's 4 bars of power at the moment. So I'm going to leave the way it is now at the moment and come back in a few hours to see if the 4 bars still there and if everything's powered up. And if it is, I would call that a success. But we'll see how we get on anyway. And then I can put something in the comments. If you like what you see, folks, like, subscribe, and all that kind of stuff on YouTube. That'd be great for traffic and everything else. But my next project, if I'm happy with this and I feel it's successful, my next project will be to make this smaller, because it's quite big. Make it smaller, get more powerful panels, and have a self-powered TV. So the TV will be able to power itself, and it won't need to be plugged into the wall or anything. But we'll see what happens. It's all experimenting. I'm sure there's things in this design that I've done which is I've probably made a few mistakes and I'll need to go back and check them out. But as I say, you have to give things a try, give them a go, see how you get on. If you fail, just try again and do it differently. Hi folks, well I came in 1 hour and a half later and the lights have gone out and everything is powered down, so I assume that the power bank ran out of power. And I do know what the problem is. And the problem was this power bank. So the LED lights were plugged into this and they were using about 1.1 amps to 1.5 amps. And because this has pass-through technology, I could plug in the charge and I could charge it while it's being used. But the charging on this only allows for 1 amp. So if I'm using 1.1 to 1.5 amps for the LEDs and I'm only charging at 1 amp, well then it's obvious that it's not going to keep its power and it's going to die. So this was the weakest link in the whole circuit. Everything else worked fine. The LEDs, the wiring, everything else, the panels, everything was fine. This let the side down. This was the problem. So because it was obviously consuming more power than what was able to take in as a charge, because it's restricted to 1 amp, that's where the problem was. So what I need to do is get a power bank that can take up to 3 amps or more for charging, because the overall power was 5 volts at 7.56 amps. So this PAP2 only took 1.5 amps. The LED lights only took about 1.1 amps. So that's about 2.6 amps being used. And the remainder, which is probably about 3 or 4 amps, could have gone into this for charging. But the problem is, this would only take 1 amp for charging. So even though I wanted to put more in, it wouldn't take it. So I need to have a better power bank that can take more amps to recharge it. Or I get 3 18650 batteries with a BMS system that takes up to 5 amps for charging. That would solve the problem. So I will have a look and see what's out there at the moment. Before I go any further or do anything else, I want to see if I can solve this problem and get something that's going to be sufficient to allow for the charging, which means it's a system that's going to charge itself. And if I sort that out, again, I'll do a video on it and show you if I rectify that. But overall, I was very happy with the technology. Everything worked, which I was happy about. The one thing that let the side down was this power bank because of the lack of charging. That only takes 1.1 amp. But, you know, you live and learn, and that was my first attempt at doing this, so not too bad. But we'll have a look now on the internet and see what we can get. So it'll either be an upgraded power bank or it'll be a BMS system with 3 18650 batteries. For now anyway, cheers, take care.